Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to review the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray limited edition of An American Werewolf in London. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. You can also find me over Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Movie Guy 365. Okay, An American Werewolf in London is here on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, released by Arrow Video. It comes in a limited edition available at your online retailers. Now, as far as the film itself, just right off the bat, I have to say, if you are a werewolf movie fan, you are definitely feasting in the last couple of months. Just last month or so, we had the release from Shout Factory of The Howling, and now we have another great werewolf flick in American Werewolf in London. Of the two movies, I don't want to do a whole talk about, comparing them. I really feel that The Howling did the werewolf lore a little bit better and had some good moments. But I think the writing and just the overall story worked slightly better here in American Werewolf in London. I am, of course, a big John Landis fan, and this is one of my favorite films that he put out. And after rewatching this, it really just stuck with me how clever this film was. It's, equal parts comedy, and there's some great horror, and just a lot of fun moments. There's not a whole lot of big names in this, but I think for the cast that we get, they do a really great job in their respective roles. It's just the movie itself. It's got a lot of good horror. It's sexy. It's funny. I think it really just has an overall great package. My only real complaint is the werewolf lore. You could use a little bit more fleshing out. That being said, it's still a wonderful movie. I'm very happy it's here on 4K. And if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. Check this out. Also check out The Howling. Werewolf fans, you're definitely eating good these days. So, all right, we're going to talk about the picture quality and the audio in just a moment. But first, let's do a quick unboxing. Okay, we have the 4K Ultra HD limited edition of An American Werewolf in London from Arrow Video. I believe this is the same packaging as the Blu-ray release, but it's still really solid looking presentation. And then we have the back, the spine, there's the contents, which I'll look at in a moment, and we also have reversible artwork here, which I'll show off in a few seconds. And some lobby cards, usual swag that comes in the limited edition, artwork on the discs. And we have a double-sided poster here, and a booklet, which gives you some very nice photos and some info on the film. I really like this. I'm going to dive into this this weekend. And for the double-sided artwork, yeah, it works. It's, from the previous releases on the older format. So, yeah, I think it looks pretty solid overall. Nice presentation from Arrow Video. Now let's talk about the picture quality and the audio. An American Werewolf in London on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray has a 185:1 aspect ratio with native 4K resolution, an HDR10, and Dolby Vision for the grading. For purposes of this review, I will be discussing the Dolby Vision encode. Now, film grain is moderate in density and fairly consistent throughout. No worries here about DNR or post-processing. It retains its cinematic look very nicely. The image itself looks very clean and free from any blemishes or imperfections from the source. Colors overall look very bold in appearance, enhanced by the Dolby Vision grading. David's red jacket in the first part of the movie, lighting at Piccadilly Circus towards the end of the film, cars, landscape are good examples of how it looks. During Jack's first visit after his death, his gory, bloody face looks really rich and crimson. Skin tones look very pleasing and warm and consistent throughout the movie. Black levels are consistently solid in their presentation. When David and Jack leave the pub and wander through the moor, nighttime sequences are nice and deep here and they look really good. When the action moves to London, those scenes also are equally dark and properly contrast any lighting sources very well. Shadows look great. As Jack continues to decay later in the film, his appearance is concealed just enough. The werewolf attack at Piccadilly Circus Theater also features very strong shadows, and they look really good. The 4K resolution enhances the overall look and detail of the film nicely. Skin textures across the board are well defined. The werewolf, especially during his transformation scene, display excellent amounts of detail. And going back to Jack's first death appearance, Rick Baker's makeup work really is bold and full on display, and it looks terrific, even more gory than I remember it previously. An American Werewolf in London on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray supports a DTS 5.1 as well as a 1.0 mono mix. I watched the movie through its duration with the 5.1 audio, but afterwards I went back and watched a few key scenes with the 1.0 mono, and I have to say, to me, it sounded a little bit better with the 5.1 mix. It felt more open and dynamic overall, but that being said, the mono is a good option to have for those that want it. Everything up front sounds clear with no issues in the audio source. Surround activity is fairly active with atmospheric and ambient sound effects. When David and Jack are wandering through the moor at night after the pub, the howls of the werewolf can be heard clearly behind you, and they move from left to right very well. Wind and rain effects are also featured nicely in the backs, providing a more immersive experience. The low end is subtle in its use. Some claps of thunder and werewolf commotion gently move the needle with the LFE. For the picture quality, I'm going to give An American Werewolf in London on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray a solid A. In my opinion, this is a worthy upgrade over the standard Blu-ray. Grain structure is perfectly intact, and the HDR Dolby Vision does a wonderful job with colors, making them rich and bold. Black level is very deep, and when it comes to the increase in resolution, it's noticeable here. I'm really impressed with the visual presentation here, and I think you will agree. For the audio mix, I'm going to give this one a B+. The standard DTS 5.1 I feel is the best track to listen to, but the mono is also there for your enjoyment. The surround activity is fairly active with atmospheric and ambient effects, and everything up front sounds really clean. I'm impressed with the audio here. It has a good energy, and I think you'll enjoy the results. So that is my review of An American Werewolf in London on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. I highly recommend you check out the movie. It's funny, it's got great horror, and the 4K disc is a great presentation. If you're interested in picking this one up for yourself, I will leave an Amazon link in the comments section below. If you use it, it really helps out the channel. And if you have it already, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.